So it all started in the 1950s when Czechoslovakia developed the VZ58, which is this rifle right here. Granted, this is a newer version of the rifle, it's more modernized, but I mean, you get the idea. The VZ58 was unique because even though it was chambered in the same round, 7.62x39 as the AK-47, it was the only service weapon that didn't directly mimic the AK-47/AKM pattern rifles. This rifle was okay for the time being, but it quickly became obsolete due to how difficult it was to modify this rifle. So in 1977, General Machine Building Plant's R&D Center started a new program for a new rifle under the name Lada S. The design for the new rifle was first approved in 1984. They were built by 1985, underwent testing in 1986, and then production was approved in 1989. This was at the end of the Cold War. The Czechoslovakian Communist Party eventually stepped down due to the Velvet Revolution. 500,000 Lada systems were planned for production in 1990, but the army had no money. Then eventually the country split into the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Luckily, there was hope for the Lada systems. The Czech Republic was possibly going to become a part of NATO in the 1990s. The Czech Republic Army wanted a new rifle, but they didn't give any contracts. Eventually, the Lada systems was exported under the name CZ 2000. Then eventually that kickstarted what's called Project 805. The company who kickstarted this program, I'm going to reference as CZ because I don't know how to pronounce their name. There were two different designs made by CZ. There was the CXX and the CZS 805. A models of the rifle were chambered in intermediate rounds like 5.56 and 7.62x39. B models were chambered in rifle rounds like 308 and even up to 300 Win Mag. To make a long story short, in 2006, both A and B models were shown to the Czech Army Chief of Staff, but no bids were given. CZ said, you know what, no problem, we know what we have. They went on and publicly displayed the rifle for 3 years. Then eventually in 2009, the Czech Army released a bid for a new rifle. In 2010, the Czech Army requested changes like going from a telescoping and folding stock to only a folding stock, pistol grips with interchangeable backstrap, and instead of a 7-lug bolt, for some reason they wanted a 6-lug bolt. The first delivery of these rifles was on July 19th of 2011. CZ was like, oh, if you guys like this, check this out. They unofficially released the Bren 806, aka the Bren 2. CZ improved the rifle directly from requests by soldiers. They made the rifle 1.1 pounds later. I'll get into that in the overview on how they achieved it. They redesigned the cocking mechanism. The maintenance on the rifle is a lot easier, and they also introduced a folding and telescoping stock. So in January 2016, the Czech Army signed a contract for 2,600 rifles. Then eventually in 2019, that's whenever the Bren 2 MS was released. That is the civilian version that I'm holding now. So after all of that, we somehow ended up with me making a YouTube video and me holding a CZ Bren 2 in my hands. Now that I've got you up to date, let's get into the full overview of the rifle.